Hello, everyone. I am the roving reporter. Today, we're going to be looking at two tools. You might not consider them so technological, but they are very important, especially if you're dealing with teaching English in your classes. We're going to look at a tool, one of them called Corpus. It's a Corpus tool or computer-based tool which compiles English examples, use of languages around the world into a nice little package where you can find examples all over all over the internet. And we're going to be using another site called getyarn.io where you can find snippets, pieces and parts of films and TV series that you can use in your teaching. Today the focus, as you see on the screen here, is about the past perfect, past simple. When can we use one? When can we use the other? And you may be teaching this to your students and they might be asking, what's the difference? Or they might find it difficult to see the difference between one and the other. So I prepared this Padlet to talk a bit about that. And I'm going to use basically some, just quick examples. First of all, by conducting a corpus search, it says up on top here, using what we call corpus search activities. So using these electronic stored media compilation of language to find examples, not just invent, but find examples online, and then using snippets. Okay, so you can really see this, and you can try this with your students as well. I'm going to leave the link to the Padlet in the description, so you can always access the Padlet afterwards. If you want to use it, feel free. So let's get started, and starting off with a simple question like this. So this is a sentence you want to start with. I had finished work before she came, or I finished work before she came. Notice I put there which one is more correct, almost like a concept checking question. So are both of them correct, incorrect? Is it more formal or less formal? That is the question sometimes our students might ask. You yourself as a teacher might ask yourself that. Is it used in more conversational, everyday English that I, leave out the past perfect? Because remember, what are the basic uses of the past perfect? To show us an event that happened before another in the past. Great. So we're going to be using, as I mentioned, the search tool number one, which is this one here called the News on the Web Corpus. So you type in stuff and you can get examples from this, really great examples there using this tool online. Okay, let me just make it bigger so you can see that. So it's much easier for everybody to see. So we're going to look into that there. And as you can see, this corpus contains 30.9 billion words all piled together, but not just words as in list, but sentences taken from different sources, so we can go into them more closely. Great. Here we go. And I mentioned getyarn, right? It's a site where you can get shots from movies, snippets from movies and TV series. Some of you may already use this. Fine. Well, using the corpus then, I typed in had finished to see what we would get. And lo and behold, this was the results for had finished. And we can see, you might not be able to look closely, but if you pause the video and you go straight in there, you see that it's repeated many times. Had finished. Most likely, of course, there's a reference to a time, something that happened before another, and then you had to use the past perfect. Okay. But to make things a little quicker, right, this is something you could do with your students. You can ask them to look at it and highlight those sentences that really show the difference of, or show a sequence of events. So here, I highlighted some of them, right, as you can see. Again, pause the video, take a look at it, or you can use the Padlet when you get this, when you open the link. Look at the Padlet, you would see that they are references to something that happened prior to another. Always something happened first and then the other happened. So one had happened before, earlier, after. There's always this referencing of time. That's the good point. So you see, I said there, they sequence events. That's okay, great. But what we want then, I wanted to bring a very good example. It happened just last week, right? For the football fans, the Brazilian football fans, those of you particularly who like maybe Palmeiras or Flamengo, you have those two teams. They played the Libertadores final last week. And what happened? This came up in a news website, sports website, that is British. And since the footballer known as this guy named Pereira, he made a mess of things, and his error caused the goal, or resulted in the goal that Palmeiras scored and ended up winning the championship. So he was loaned. He's loaned from Manchester United. So they, of course, are following him there. That's why he was made as he made the headlines, as you can see in the picture. But what we want to focus on, it's very close to the heart of these Brazilian fans. If you go down, what happened exactly? And looking at the story down there, see, there's lots of things you could do. You could even go into the vocabulary, but I highlighted this phrase. So it talks a bit about the goal, the player Gabriel Barbosa who scored a goal. And before, you see what happened, they described the mistake that Andreas Pereira had caused to the team, but earlier, before, Gabriel had made history. So he scored a goal before that again. So again, past perfect, right? But our goal here now is to see if it is possible to leave out or to use the past simple when you have the past perfect. Yeah, because according to the grammar, that's what we need to do. Let's take a look. So how about taking a look at this this movie here, Thunder Force, all right? So just put it as a headline there for you. And then we want to look at some snippets from this movie, right? Melissa McCarthy and Olivia Spencer, right? And look at what Olivia says. She starts talking a bit about her story and stuff. And I highlighted her sentences there. But just let's listen to this. Take a look. Right, let's get it here, right? So she developed, I'm going to make it a little louder. Let's hear it again.
I developed a genetic sequencing platform.
Right, platform. But I'm showing this why? Because it's a build up to this, right? Let's see. A platform
that can alter a human's biochemistry in unimaginable ways.
Okay, great. So she's talking about that. And then this is where I want us to really focus. Look at this.
I finally finished the work my parents started.
Right. So apparently her parents were scientists like herself. She's a scientist, but her parents did things. So if her parents started some kind of research, they started it before she did, right? So technically, she should have said, I finally finished the work my parents had started. She didn't say that. She said,
I finally finished the work my parents started.
So it's possible, isn't it? We can see that probably that she used the simple past. But we see there, and it's arguable. Oh, well, these examples are there, but does it mean it's correct? Grammatically, again, if you go back to the grammar books, they will tell you that you should use past perfect. But we see in everyday English that most people, apparently, from these examples we've seen here, that some people just stick to the past simple because they're not worried about referencing or showing the difference between one event and the other, the sequence of time. Okay, that time reference is not a big deal. Could she have used the past perfect as I asked the question there? Yes, she could have. She should have, but she didn't. Fine. Well, there's another. She continues talking here. Let me just show you. And let's see what she says in this part.
I was going to find a way to stop the miscreants.
Okay, so this is what she wanted to do. Right? And her goal
I was going to become a super person.
Right. Well, as you see in the movie, they become superheroes. It's all about superheroes, but it's a bit of a comedy. Fine. That's the example. But what then we can conclude from this, that this is use probably much more everyday English. Yes. But I gave you two more examples and we can decide if it's correct or incorrect. What is wrong here? Let's see. Or what is not wrong? Let's see. Let's see what he says.
I thought something happened to you.
Right. I thought something happened to you. And you might think, well, I thought something had happened. In Portuguese, you might even, students might say, pensei que algo tenha acontecido, because you're not sure. I thought something had happened. Maybe the word is missing. So that's why I kind of put that as a question. Same thing missing there. Something had happened or happened. We don't know. This time round, look what happens this time.
Oh, thank God. I thought something terrible had happened.
So apparently our friend is okay because look what he said there. Again, thank God. There it again.
Oh, thank God. I thought something terrible had happened.
So we can conclude that both are possible, especially in spoken English. That's it. As I said, I'm going to leave the link to this Padlet in the description. Hope you like it. Don't forget to press the bell to say you enjoyed it, and of course to get more videos like these, using tools like these to help your students come up with questions or deal with questions they have related to language and real language. Okay? That's it, guys. Thank you very much. This is the Rover Reporter, over and out.